Hello, and thank you for giving me the opportunity to speak with you today about registered apprenticeship programs and opportunities. Why should you consider registered apprenticeship as a springboard to your career, as the start of your journey to a good-paying job with benefits and a future? I'll tell you why. Because it works, and because it pays. Registered apprenticeship is fundamentally all about earning while you're learning. It is a form of post-secondary education, but not in the traditional sense of college. In fact, registered apprenticeship is often referred to as college without the debt. Let me say that again. Registered apprenticeship is often referred to as college without the debt. But don't get me wrong, traditional higher education has its place. I'm actually a product of traditional higher education, but it's not the only way. And it's not necessarily the best way for everyone or the right timing for everyone. Before explaining further, let me entice you with one important tidbit of information. Let's take two individuals. One who learned their craft, skill, or occupation through traditional higher education pathways, but the other learned their craft, skill, or occupation through a registered apprenticeship program. Our research indicates that the person who went through a registered apprenticeship program will, on average, earn approximately $300,000 more over their lifetime relative to the person who did not go through a registered apprenticeship program. That's pretty amazing. But what is it exactly? Can we put a little more meat on that bone as opposed to simply saying registered apprenticeship works? In other words, what's the secret sauce here? What makes it so special relative to other career and talent development approaches? Well, there are 5 main components to every registered apprenticeship program. Whether we're talking about a small family-run operation or a multi-million-dollar corporation. First and foremost, we must have an employer. They provide the paid job. They represent the foundation and the driver of the registered apprenticeship program. And that makes perfect sense because registered apprenticeship is a job, and from day one. Second, there is structured on-the-job learning with mentorship. And that mentorship is critical. It's part of the learning while you're earning. Third, there is an academic component to every program. It's the academic learning that is supplemental to the on-the-job learning. We call this related instruction because it's related to, or it supplements, what the apprentice or trainee is learning and doing on the job. Fourth, every registered apprenticeship program includes progressive wage increases. In other words, as skill levels increase, the wage level increases. Even in the shortest registered apprenticeship program, which would be 1 year, there must be a starting wage, an ending wage, and at least one wage increase somewhere in the middle, so to speak. And finally, at the completion of every registered apprenticeship program, the individual earns a nationally recognized and portable credential, which means it has value in other states. And that brings us back full circle to what was said earlier on higher education. Individuals can complete their registered apprenticeship program and then go on to pursue a college degree, often translating their registered apprenticeship program credential into college credit, minimizing the time it takes to get that associate's degree or that bachelor's degree. Before wrapping this up, I'd like to address a common myth relative to registered apprenticeship. Specifically, many people are under the mistaken impression that registered apprenticeship is limited to the construction industry or the building trades. That's not the case. Registered apprenticeship covers multiple industry sectors and occupations, from healthcare to finance to energy to IT and more, in addition to the building trades, which remain our stronghold. And speaking of the building and construction trades, please don't just dismiss them out of hand, as so often happens. These are high-paying, family-sustaining, no-college debt careers. So please keep your options open. And just remember, when you consider your future, consider registered apprenticeship. Thank you.